I've been able to get Instagram influencers to promote my product, and I'm reaching people with 20,000 followers or up to 250,000 followers, as you can see here. And I'm doing this by sending them a very simple and templatized message that I came up with that I'm going to share with you in this video. And this brought me over $2,000 in sales on Shopify, and it's hard to estimate, but around $8,000 in sales on Amazon. So I'm going to share with you the 5 steps that I'm using to do this and the messages that I've been sending to these influencers. So the first step to do this is figuring out who your audience is. And that's important because if you don't know who your audience is and who your typical customer is, then you won't know who the influencer is that's supposed to influence these customers. And by the way, this strategy is free, but in the next video, I'm going to be sharing with you a tool that I've been using where if you're an Amazon seller and you know Jungle Scout and Helium 10, this is similar because you can filter through Instagram and according to criteria, like whatever they put in their bio, in their posts, in their hashtags, or how many followers they have and how many people they follow, all these details. You can filter through these, and it's not free, obviously. But the next video is going to be about how I use this tool. So if you want to see that, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Notification bell to get notified when I post this video. So who's your ideal customer? What are they into? If you can figure all these questions out, where do they hang out? How do they speak? What problems do they have? Who do they follow? If you're able to answer these questions, you'll be able to understand a bit more about who your ideal customer is and find who are the influencers that can influence these people. If you don't have any data on your customers, you can start by answering these questions. But if you do have data, you can go to your Instagram if you have one and look at the analytics page and see all the data that they give you there and try to understand a bit more who your customers are. Same with a Facebook page. If you have one, you can go there and see the data over there. And same with ManyChat. If you've watched my videos, I've talked about having an insert card in your product so that you can get ManyChat subscribers. And these people are exactly your clients. So then you'll be able to understand exactly who they are through ManyChat because they give you the data as well. So for example, on ManyChat, you can go to the dashboard and you can see what language they speak. You can see what gender they are. So now I know that 73% of my audience is male, and I know to target influencers that influence males a bit more than females, for example, in this case. And if you were smart about your flows on ManyChat and you ask specific questions as your customers come in, then you'll be able to have whatever information you need. Or you can just blast a broadcast and ask them a specific question to understand them better. One other way that you can do this, assuming you don't have Instagram or Facebook or ManyChat, you can go to Amazon and then you can look at the reviews. So you would go to your competitors. And for the sake of this video, I'm going to take an example of my friend's product, which is electrolyte powder. So Mina, who's been on this channel, sells electrolyte powder. If you haven't seen that video, it's in my channel. Check it out. We talk about how he sells this product and how much money he makes. But what I would do, let's say I just started selling this product, I would go to electrolyte powder. I would find one of the top competitors, and this competitor right here has 3,000 reviews, so it's probably one of the top ones. So I would go through their reviews, and then if you scroll down, you can read the reviews to understand a bit more about who their customers are. The top ones might not be the best ones because they're either sometimes paid for or they're old. You can click on right here, the arrow right here, and then instead of top reviews, most recent. So these are the most recent ones and probably the most honest ones. So let's click on this person right here. She's reviewed 31 products, and now we can understand a bit more what type of products she buys and what type of person she is. It's creepy and weird, but it works. Finally, another tool that you can use is Facebook Audience, which is in the business side of Facebook. You can go there and put in a specific type of interest or a specific page and then see what Facebook tells you about the audience of that page or that interest. And finally, one more bonus tip. If you don't have your own Instagram, you don't have your own Facebook and all this stuff, just like we looked at the reviews of this product, we can go to their Instagram page. So if their brand name is Key Nutrients, we go to Instagram, look up their page, and they have a good amount of followers. So it's a big enough page to get some information about the customers. And then if you click on who tagged this page, those are basically either the customers or the influencers. So going through these people is going to give you a good amount of information to understand who the customers are. So right away, I can see that there's a lot of keto keywords. So Christy Keto, Shadid Keto. So this product is probably for people who are interested in the keto diet. Me not knowing anything about the product, now I know a bit more. So now the second step is figuring out what the criteria of the influencers that you're looking for is. So you sit down and you think, how many followers am I looking for with these influencers? What I look for is anywhere between 2,000 to 5,000 as a minimum. followers for the influencers and up to 80 to 100,000. As you saw at the beginning, there's one influencer that I work with 250,000 followers. That's an outlier, but if it works, why not? But typically under 100,000, the influencers are easier to reach. They're more willing to work with you because they're newer, they have more time, they have less people talking to them, and they're looking for opportunities themselves as well. And then you have to look at the engagement. So they might have a lot of followers, but if no one is commenting on the posts, no one cares about this influencer, then what's the point of paying them or working with them if they're not going to influence anyone or enough people? So if you look at the influencers, you can compare the amount of followers that they have to the amount of comments that they get. And that's going to easily tell you that they have engagement or they don't. So as you can see here, the average Instagram account has 3% engagement rate. That's an average of 3 comments to 100 followers. So anything above that is considered an influencer, I guess. So 3 to 6% is not bad. Next thing I look for is if they have good quality of photos. So it depends on your goal when you're doing this. When I started doing this, I didn't have a Shopify store. I wasn't trying to sell my products. My goal was to send my products to as many influencers as possible to get content because I was trying to grow my Instagram page and my Facebook page. I didn't have the budget to go and make content and to take photos and videos, but I thought if I can send my product to enough people, they can take photos and I can use those to grow my page. So my goal was to find influencers that have good quality photos. So if they don't have a lot of followers, but they have amazing photos, I might consider them over someone else that doesn't have amazing photos and they have more followers. Which brings me to the next point, which is if they have a specific type of content that you're looking for. So for example, going through this page again, we can see that they obviously look for content where the product is showcased. So if an influencer doesn't typically post this type of content, maybe we don't work with them or we consider less compared to others. But if an influencer shows that they usually post exactly this type of content, then I would choose them. So think of what type of value you want to provide to your audience. And then if that influencer posts this type of value, then it's worthwhile. Bonus, if they're active on their stories, that's very useful because then they're going to post your product on their stories, which sometimes get more reach than some posts. And then finally, if you see that these influencers have done giveaways in the past, if you scroll through their page and then you see they've done a giveaway with another brand, then they're probably willing to do a giveaway with you, which is also useful to grow your page and to get your product in front of more people. So now is the important and exciting part, and that's how to find these influencers. You know who the audience is and you know who's going to influence them, and then you know the criteria of these influencers. Now it's time to look for them. So taking this page again as an example, first thing that I would do is go to a competitor on Amazon that has a big page or a big product, and then see if they have a good enough page on Instagram. Go there. First thing I do is I click on this arrow on the top right here. Well, not top, middle right. And then this is going to suggest similar pages to this page. So going through them, we're going to look for influencers that have a good amount of followers. So right away, we found someone with 22.7 thousand followers. And so they fit the criteria of the amount of followers. And then we can go through and see how many comments they get. And then if they fit the criteria of the engagement rate that you're looking for, then you can reach out to these people. So from your competitor, you're able to find a typical influencer, and now you can go and talk to them. You can do this again from the influencer and click on the arrow and find more similar people. So there you go, 62,000, that's more followers. And again, you see how they're all keto, they're all about keto. So we hit the jackpot here and we know exactly who the customer is. And then she has very good content, and let's see the engagement rate. It's not too bad, I guess. I'm not sure what the typical rate is for this kind of niche, but now we have some leads. The next thing that I would do is go back to the competitor and then see who they're tagging. So let's see. They just tagged this person right here who has 6,000 followers, who seems to be some sort of influencer, I guess, in the niche. And they tagged this person as well. If you want, you could work with this person, but if they worked with your competitor directly, they might not want to. So again, from this influencer, you click on the arrow and you find similar people who probably did not work with the brand that is your competitor. My next step is looking through the competitor's comments. So one of your competitors, you look at one of their posts. Usually in the comments, there's a lot of potential customers, but you don't really want to reach out to them. But there's a lot of influencers that comment, especially if they use hashtags. So if they use like low carb diet hashtag or like keto hashtag, a bunch of influencers are going to come and comment on there to try to get some followers. But we can see who's commenting and then find out if they're influencers or not. So Keto Brooklyn is probably one of our typical influencers. So go through the comments and then see who are the other influencers that are commenting. One more way to do this is to look through hashtags. And if you don't know which hashtags to look for, again, just go to your competitors, go to one of their posts and look. The first one is electrolytes. I would click on there and then you can see everyone who's tagged this hashtag. So right away, you can find some easy influencers, 49.3 thousand followers. Let's see, good amount. I mean, not the best engagement, but again, it's a good way to find influencers in that specific niche. Now, finally, you can repeat this whole 4 to 5 step process by doing it for a specific influencer. So after you went through your competitor and found an influencer, you can look through the influencer's arrow and see who they recommend. You can look if they've tagged anyone. You can look who's tagged them. You can look through the comments and see if there's any influencers there. And then you can look through their hashtags and try to find some new ideas and new hashtags to search through. So you found the influencers, and now's the time to reach out to them. First, you have to prepare a quick template and think of what you want to tell them so that you can do this in bulk and you can make it more efficient. And I'll show you what my template looks like in a second, but you want to send the message from the brand's page, obviously not from your personal page. And what I do is 20 to 30 messages a day. And this is really key because if you're sending 1 to 2 messages only per day and you're hoping to be successful from that, it's not going to work because most people are not going to reply. Not most, but a lot of them are not. So doing 20 to 30 messages a day, you can almost guarantee that some people are going to reply and they're going to work with you. Make sure to track everything, who you've messaged and who you need to follow up on. And following up is very important. So tracking is going to be helpful. And finally, make sure to build a relationship with these influencers. So instead of just DMing them, maybe comment on their stories, start a conversation. It's a lot easier to have them reply if you're commenting on one of their stories. So let's see right here, May. You can comment on this story and say beautiful outfit. And then she's going to respond. You can comment on this story and then take the conversation from there. I always like a bunch of posts, comment on a couple of posts and follow the person and try to reply to a story before DMing them the template. And then as a bonus, which works really well, if you find one of their posts and it's very valuable, if you share it on your own page, the influencer is going to be very thankful. So it's easier to get a conversation going with them as well. And you're bringing free value to your followers, which is very easy to do as well. So this is what some of my messages look like. As you can see, it's pretty templatized. It's similar. Hey, the person's name, love your whatever kind of page it is. I started a brand with a friend last year to help people, whatever the product helps people with. I'd love to send you whatever the product is and then share why it's going to be good for them. So you love it because this and that. Make sure to relate it to something in their page. So if they're posting a lot about something specific, tell them it's going to help you with that specific thing. And as you can see, here, they just say, hey, and sure, why not? Because all I'm asking is for them to test the product. I'm not asking for anything more than that. Give me your opinion on my product. It's a new product that I'm excited about, and your opinion would be very helpful. So they're gonna say, yes, sure, why not? And then next thing I do is ask them for their address, and then I send them a product through Amazon. So here's another example, same message almost. I just try to relate it to something in their page, and here's another response. You can see, thank you, congrats on your business. I love the branding. So you're talking to real people. You're creating real relationships, and I don't see why they wouldn't want to try your product. From what I've seen, almost everyone who's gotten our products have posted about it in their stories, have posted about it in their posts, especially since our product is actually a good product. So if you're selling something that's useful, it's not going to be hard to have them post about it, even if you don't ask them to do that. So this person had 20,000 followers. This one had 251,000 followers. This one had 12,000 and this one had 42,000. You can see the messages that we sent them. Now later, after doing a bunch of this stuff, some of these influencers, or a lot of these influencers, they follow each other. So they started seeing their friends posting about our products, and we started getting messages to us, just like this one, saying, hey, I'd love to get a discount code for my followers. And of course, we'd love to do that. So we just said, yeah, of course. Thank you for, thinking of us and wanting to share our product. So eventually it's typical, or it's not surprising to see influencers come to you and ask you to promote your product, which is weird, but is very, very helpful, and it works. Sometimes they send you a message like this one, a pretty templatized message from their side. And it's like, thanks for reaching out, but message this email if you want to set up a paid collaboration. If you want to do that, you could. It's a good opportunity. If you don't have the budget for it, then probably don't do it. And then finally, obviously, since we're sending 20 to 30 messages a day, a lot of them are not going to reply. Don't be sad. Just move on and message other people. Tip number 5 is to keep the influencers coming back. So don't just do this and then forget about them, you would have wasted your time and you would have wasted the effort, because these influencers, if they've worked with you once, they're going to work with you again if you keep a relationship going. So just follow them, comment on their posts, something very basic and very simple. Like their posts, interact with their stories, reply to them, and just care in general, care about these influencers. And it's very easy to do if you follow them. They're just going to show up on your feed. And finally, if you can offer some sort of value to these influencers, it'll be very much worth your time. So for example, there's an influencer that we work with who's been very helpful to us, and I just talk to them as if I'm talking to my friends. So these influencers, they're trying to start their own businesses, they're trying to make their own money, and they're trying to learn how to do marketing. Maybe they know how to talk about keto product, but they don't know exactly how to do marketing. But we know how to do marketing, or we're learning how to do that, and we can give them some tips of our own. So whenever I've given tips to influencers, they've wanted to help us even more. And that specific influencer, for example, she told us that she wants to add to her marketing portfolio. So I was like, do you want to take some photos of the product and you can add this to your portfolio? And she was like, yes. So now I'm getting free product photos that I can use on my Amazon page or on my Shopify page. And she's getting value in return because she's adding it to her portfolio. And finally, something that I've been doing recently is sending my top influencers gifts and t-shirts and just anything that's going to make them happy, and it really works. So I definitely recommend doing that. So as I mentioned before, I'll be doing another video on how I find influencers using a paid tool where I can filter for specific criteria. If you want to see that, make sure to subscribe to this channel and click on the notification bell to get notified when I post that video. If you like this one, please hit the thumbs up. It really helps me out. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, or join my Facebook group, which is free, and you can ask me questions there anytime. You can reach me directly in there. It's called the Amazon FBA group on Facebook. And click right here if you want to see a video where I shared how I linked Amazon to Shopify so that you can create a Shopify store and sell your products there, since now you have influencers to help you sell your products on Shopify. Click right here to see how I did that, and I'll see you guys there. Peace. Click on this link, click on this, and then log into your Amazon account and just follow the steps. It's very simple. If you've added feedback with